Hey guys, this is Michael back with the second episode of Numunimation, Craft Cocktails meets Craft Cartoons. This week I am going to be talking to you about my budget and what I've been purchasing. So, all in all, my budget is very low. I went out and spent $70 on liquor and I got 4 gallons of liquor. Quite a bit's already gone because that was a couple weeks ago. But, that being said, I still have them here so I can show you all the really crappy liquor I bought. I'm also going to be talking about the juices I've purchased and some simple syrups that I'm making because it's a lot easier than going out and buying like margarita mix or other things. So, alcohol. Now, I'm making this on a budget. I imagine you live on a budget as well. I don't have a lot of money, and that's okay. Like I said in the previous episode, we're combining flavors to make a whole new flavor. That's really going to help when you're buying really crappy alcohol. Yes, buying more expensive alcohol is going to be a lot better. Jack Daniel's is much better than the wonderful Kentucky Gentleman I have here. But if you're making 35 cocktails, who's going to care? And if 90% of the time you're mixing it with a Coke, who's really going to care? I mean, again, I spent $70 on liquor, and I got over 4 gallons. So, the basic liquors you're going to want to have in your home bar. Again, you don't have to buy these all at once. I went and bought them all out so I could make cocktails and experiment. But, starting, you're going to need vodka. 1.75 liters, $9.99. Skull. Yeah, it's cheap vodka. It's made of plastic. I can squeeze it. That's okay. Vodka's, I mean, if you really want to get fancy with it, you can go buy the expensive stuff. If you want to be super, super cheap about it, you could probably go buy a Brita filter specifically for vodka and just filter it through the charcoal filter in the Brita. Gin. Again, shitty gin. 1.75 liters of the lovely American Pride. Because I'm mixing this with things. And who cares, you're drinking at home. Again, this was $10. I'm not wasting money here. Rum. Now, on my show, I'm not going to be talking about the different types of rum unless people really want me to. That's the same for whiskey and tequila. I do have a couple of different tequilas because the color can be important if you're making a fun cocktail. The flavor as well, but when you're buying shitty liquors, it's not really that much of a difference. So, this is just regular rum. Clear rum, cane rum, nothing fancy about it. It's not bad. Whiskey, on the other hand, does need to be aged. All liquor is technically vodka. Whiskey here, I mean, it's Kentucky Gentleman. It's not the best, obviously, but that's okay. Kentucky Gentleman here is $8 for 1.75 liters. Mixing it with sugar, you're not going to tell a huge difference in your average drink. Mixing it with Coke, you realistically shouldn't tell any difference in your drink with just the amount of crap that's in Coke. But again, making any cocktail with Jack Daniel's, Herman Marshall, anything better than this is going to be a lot better. And this isn't anything fancy. Again, Kentucky bourbon. Bourbon's a type of whiskey. I'm not going into those details. Scotch, bourbon, rye, Canadian. I'm buying cheap whiskey. It doesn't matter to me. If you do want to learn about that, I'm going to have links up on the Facebook, Google+, and YouTube page so that you can go there and learn about all the different types of whiskey or rum or tequila. Right, now, tequila is a little extra special for me here. I've got 2 different types of tequila. You can see, I live in Texas. I've gone through a lot of it already. I've got 2 of the 3 different types. Again, American Pride. I've got just standard white, and then I've got some Reposado tequila. The last type of tequila is añejo, and if you're buying American Pride añejo tequila, you have problems. Now, those are the main liquors that you're going to want in your bar. Vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, tequila. That can make any standard bar at home, and with that you can make most delicious cocktails. Now, I've got 1 extra triple sec orange liqueur. I would definitely add it to a bar, but that's just me. I mean, it's your money. Do what you want. This was $6. Not a bad idea. So the final word on liquors is the cheaper the liquor, the worse it's going to be. But again, you're making a big flavor, so it's not really going to matter too much. If you buy a better liquor, your flavor is going to be better. That's all I can really say about that. So next I've got juices and fruits. I don't have any fruits with me right now because I want to keep them refrigerated. Fruits are primarily going to be used for garnishes, so I'm going to go over those first. The easiest ones to keep in your house: lemons, limes, oranges. Lemons and limes you're probably going to be using for other cooking. Oranges are just delicious to me personally. You may not like them. They may kill you. I have friends who are allergic to citrus. I don't talk to them much, but that's life. Some other simple ones that you can keep around for garnishes are cherries or cucumbers. I mean, cucumbers aren't as easy, but cherries, you buy a little container of cherries and that'll last you forever. Juice-wise, the easiest ones to keep around are going to be orange juice, a staple in any household, hopefully, according to the American Heart Association and the FDA and all of those other people that say orange juice is good for you, despite how much sugar is in it. And grapefruit juice. Not a lot of people like grapefruit juice. That's okay. I love grapefruit juice personally, but it's very good for making cocktails. Cranberry juice is probably really easy to keep around as well. I drank all my apple juice. I can't show you my apple juice container. That's unfortunate, but apple juice is another one. Now again, I've got Giant things here. These are cheap, great value brand. Yay, Walmart. But I've got Giant ones because I'm mixing. You don't need something that big. Realistically, pineapple juice size, these little bitty Dole 6-pack cans, buy them in the, when you're checking out. Buy one of those. One of those sizes. That's perfect. You can make 4 or 5 cocktails out of that. That'll last you a weekend. Absolutely no problem. Pineapple juice is another good one to have around. Again, these come in 6-packs. They're 6 ounces each, so you get quite a bit there, but you don't use pineapple juice too terribly often, I don't think. Having individual containers makes it a lot easier. Some other fun things to have around when you're making cocktails, juice-wise. Need some strawberry juice. I've got some Jumex here. Jumex. Strawberry juice and peach nectar. Very, very good if you're making a peach Bellini. Almost required, some would say. Okay, so the last section that I'm going to talk about today is simple syrup. Simple syrup can easily be purchased at your liquor store for like $10 a bottle. That's a waste of money. Simple syrup is literally sugar and water. 1-to-1 sugar and water, heated on the stove. That's it. Unless you want to put other things in it, which I've done for a couple of them. At the end of this episode, there's going to be a time lapse with me cooking some simple syrup, just so you can see what it looks like at home, in case you don't know. But I've got 1 cup, 8 ounces. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. You're cooking at home. This isn't a 5-star restaurant. But you want equal parts sugar and water, and that's really it. It's super duper simple. The trick to it, however, is not immediately refrigerating it. If you immediately refrigerate it, just like Jell-O, it's going to become thick and squishy. Unlike Jell-O, it's not going to be Jell-O. It's just going to be squishy sugar, which is syrup. Now, we don't want a syrupy syrup like maple, because that's too thick to make a good cocktail. If it's that thick, it's going to get gummy. Other types of simple syrup you can make are honey syrup, which I've got right here, a jar of honey syrup, nice and thick. There's a little bit of air in there. Thick color, that is, not thickness. I can easily jostle it around. Now this is 1-to-1. I didn't measure this out because, well, technically I did. 8 ounces of honey in here. I poured it out, poured water in, shook it up, poured the water into the honey. And then I warmed that a little bit. And that's that. Very easy. Another type you can make, brown sugar simple syrup. Very dark, very rich. If you've got access to a confectionery store or a cake shop, they may have other crazy exotic stuff. I've used crazy spiced Mexican sugar to make simple syrups before. Holy crap, were they good. Now, one of my favorite syrups is cinnamon simple syrup. As you can see, I've gone through a lot of it. This is one of the more difficult syrups to make and store. It gets very, very crusty very quickly. Now, I'm going to flip it over and you can see all the cinnamon stick at the bottom. Yeah, very thick stuff. I mean, it's overpowering too. Anybody who's ever tried the cinnamon challenge, you will know you don't need a lot of cinnamon to have a strong flavor. 8 ounces of sugar, 8 ounces of water with half a tablespoon of cinnamon on top of that. I would put the cinnamon in before you put the water in, or not the water, but the sugar. I would put the cinnamon in before you put the sugar in when making that. It allows for the cinnamon to become wet and it will mix better with the sugar. Otherwise, the cinnamon, the water and the sugar will form barriers around the cinnamon, and then you'll have these little bubbles in there, and then pockets will explode when you're doing stuff, and you'll get more cinnamon. It's not fun. It's poor for cooking. The last two that I have are tea-based simple syrups. I have an Earl Grey tea simple syrup right here. Nice, deep, rich flavor. Smells like Earl Grey tea. And I also have a chamomile-based simple syrup. Nice honey-looking color there. These are just very simple. Earl Grey, and then this crazy celestial summons chamomile that I found in my roommate's tea stuff he said I could use. Like tea, you need to have the water and the tea together before you add any other flavorings to it, because it'll mix everything up. I only used 4 packets for 8 ounces of water of each of these. Stick them in the bottom of the pot while you're heating the water up, and once you've got the desired color, toss the tea packets and add the sugar. Mix it up until it's clear. Eventually I'm going to be adding bitters and maybe a couple of other things to it. I don't know yet. Bitters are most likely, but making simple syrups at home is very, very easy to do. You can buy 5-pound bag of sugar for like, what, $3-4? It's not expensive, and each of those was a cup of sugar. You got a lot of sugar left over to do whatever you need to with. Okay, so here is the time lapse of the simple syrup creation process. It's very easy. The next episode is when I'm going to make the first cocktail. So I'll let you guys know the first series I'm going to be doing is Gundam Wing, because every good space opera needs good drinks. That's all I've got, so enjoy the rest of your week.